Here we go. Nice and easy. No way out, little guys. Not out of this jam. Hello, hello. What can I do for you, officer? Oh no, it's all right. I'm just busy. What's this about? So that's what this is. Lena sent you. Can't say I blame her. We've been here for days. That darn water lock is broken, and we can't go under the 881. Oh, good. We should really be getting back. Gary could use a hot shower and a warm bed. I'm looking for a rare insect. The Insulindian phasmid. Fieldwork. Nothing quite like it. A science person. The so-called science community hasn't accepted me as one of their own quite yet. To what do I owe the pleasure? Of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damn water lock is broken, and we can't go all the way around the 881. Well, they may not look impressive, but Lena designed them quite cleverly, so I'm sure they'll do the trick. No, officer, you've got the wrong person. I deal with living organisms. Wilderness. You must be joking, officer. I'm not an adventurer. I'm a scientist. I know how to tread lightly, to clean up after myself. Morell. Cryptozoologist. I'd shake your hand, but I'm Morell, a cryptozoologist. I'm out here looking for a rare insect called the Insulindian phasmid. I'd shake your hand, but yes? I didn't expect you to take such an interest in our work here, officer. So it was just a child. Completely empty? Yeah, you're right. We just need to restock the empty trap. Then we'll need to inspect the traps one more time. And then maybe we can. Locusts. Nearly all known phasmids are herbivores, of course. But we've hypothesized that the Insulindian phasmid might occasionally prey on other insects. Simple. Attracted by the locusts, the phasmid crawls down the funnel and, having eaten its fill, can get back out. At least, that's the intention. The net isn't a perfect solution, but we didn't want to use anything that might damage the specimen's delicate exoskeleton. Yes, indeed. Both require a great deal of research, attention to detail, and, above all, persistence. Sometimes it's helpful to take a break and return to one's primary pursuit with fresh eyes. Well, be that as it may, I'd really appreciate the help. Bring it to me at once. Just make sure the trap is closed tight. Thank you for your help. Gary and I will start breaking down camp. If you have any more questions, now's the time to ask. That's not ideal, but yes, the Phantasmadeia picked off the locusts and escaped. This is good news, though we'll have to reconsider the design of the traps, make them more secure. I'm afraid not, officer. I've been busy digging around in the reeds for days, looking for signs of insect activity. I'm less interested in mammalian concerns, to be perfectly honest. I've just always liked animals and puzzles. Searching for cryptids is a bit of both. I have to resist the thought. Such an extraordinary creature is doubtlessly highly resilient. After all, it's generally thought to be capable of parthenogenesis. Yes, the females don't need males to reproduce. Makes it easier for a species to survive in adverse conditions. Nature does not concern herself with ethical propositions. As a scientist, my interest is strictly dispassionate. Real. I know you think one is a respectable profession, while the other is superstition. Everyone does. My methods are the same as those of other scientists. I simply draw upon a wider variety of evidence, and I have more hope that something truly surprising might happen. Agreed. Yet there is always a chance, albeit a small one, of a truly good surprise. One simply needs to look at the history of science. Serendipities abound. No, as I said, I have yet to catch a cryptid, although I have come close. Close enough to keep trying. I've yet to catch a cryptid, if that's what you're getting at. But I have come close. It's not child's play. Just because I have to traipse through the mud every so often. Everything from forgotten regional lore to newspaper accounts, like the one that brought us here, to look for the phasmid. I keep a very open mind. Most establishment scientists only care about reputation and remuneration, not real research, and certainly not the truth. They're a cowardly lot, and both the field and basement archives can be dangerous places. Yes, the Insulindian phasmid is a very clever insect. That's why it's so damn difficult to catch. But as a scientist, I'll try my best to remain dispassionate. It's the first credible sighting in several decades. Admittedly, it's an unusual location for this species, but with all the sewage runoff upstream, it probably doesn't matter much anymore. There was a credible sighting here recently. A pair of teenagers described a creature that matched the Insulindian phasmid to an uncanny degree, despite not knowing what it was themselves. Who's there? Oh, the police. Hello, officers. Who's there? Oh, the police. Hello, officer. Don't worry, Gary. I'll handle it. I appreciate your concern, officer, but please leave this to the experts. Unless you have an alternative hypothesis you'd like to venture. Of course we have. A little hooligan. But what would a child want with bugs? Kids. What would a child want with bugs? Auto-cannibalistic locusts. I appreciate your unconventional thinking, officer. But really, cryptids aren't your area of expertise. Thank you for your help. Gary and I will start breaking down camp. If you have any more questions, now's the time to ask. We'll be gone once you get to it. That's highly unlikely, officer. But in the event you do, I'll spray you with a pheromone mixture I developed. You broke the waterlock with a motor carriage, but there was a billboard in the canal. Not a vehicle. It said Samaran butter. Why? Insane. Yes, okay, good. But you said the waterlock is fixed now, so we can go back. Sure. But you said the waterlock is fixed now, so we can go back. Scientist. Yes, okay. But you said the waterlock is fixed now, so we can go back. I just have to do one more round. See if the phasmid has taken the bait. Then we're going. Yes, Gary! We can go soon! If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long. Good to see you again, officer. To what do I owe the pleasure? Hello? Lena and I were just discussing the design of the new trap. Hello, officer. I think I almost have it. A new trap design, that is. I know you're skeptical, but I have a good feeling about this. Oh, hello, officer. Yes, Gary. We can go back soon. If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long now. We'll be on our way soon. Thank you again for lending a hand. It's great to see you again, officer. My wife can't wait to thank you. Go on, talk to her. Ha ha! Nothing like the gratitude of a good woman. Now then, what can I do for you? I couldn't possibly shower thanks on you as enthusiastically as my wife has. But I am grateful for your assistance, officer. You broke the waterlock with a motor carriage, but there was a billboard in the canal. Not a vehicle. It said Samaran butter. Why? Insane. Yes, okay, good. But you said the waterlock is fixed now, so we can go back. Scientist. Yes, okay. But you said the waterlock is fixed now, so we can go back. Sure. But you said the waterlock is fixed now, so we can go back. We were supposed to go back to Martinez a couple of days ago, but that damn waterlock is broken. Oh, good. We should really be getting back. Gary could use a hot shower and a warm bed. Hello, hello. What can I do for you, officer? If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long. I'm so close to being done here. Yes, I am. It's made of musk and research chemicals. The pheromone should attract the insect to you, or at least prevent it from bolting at the sight of you. It's quite potent, will last you about a week. Oh, I doubt there is any connection there. Anyway, these pheromones will attract the insect to you, or at least prevent it from bolting at the sight of you. It's quite potent, should last you about a week. Well, first of all, it's damn difficult to find, which is why we've been knee-deep in the reeds laying traps for it. Good question. Being a phasmid of the order Phantasmodea, a ghost insect, it disguises itself as plant matter. In this case, the reeds. Awful lot of reeds around, aren't there? Not yet. That's what makes it a cryptid, and I suspect it may have also developed other specialised techniques to protect itself from predators, or scientists, in our present case. Very little, I'm sorry to say. No one's ever captured a specimen, so all our information is based on first and third-hand accounts. I know it's real, by which I mean I've heard enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the Insulindian phasmid is more than mere superstition, and I'm eager to return to her, I assure you. But I can't leave before we finish with these traps. And leave the traps? Absolutely not! I won't let Lena down. They'll work, I assure you. The predatory hypothesis, using locusts as bait, accounts for the failure of previous efforts by other teams, which use plants. We have given this some thought. Typical rookie assumption. Insects are much more sophisticated creatures than those unversed in zoology give them credit for. Even simply catching a glimpse of the Insulindian phasmid would be the apex of any cryptozoologist's career. But to study it and its defences, find out how it stayed hidden so long, suffice to say, it's long been our dream to find proof of the Insulindian phasmid together. I can't abandon course now. No. The traps need to be monitored on a regular schedule. What would we do if the phasmid were to starve while we were sipping tea at the hostel? Give up after we've come so far? Not a chance. You're right, dear. It's a fair point. But what other explanation could there be? A different cryptid? Really, officer? We can take it from here. What the devil is a kuno? And why would he be making a city of bugs? You're right. We can come back next season, when it's warmer. You're right, dear. We'll get our shot yet. I'm sure of it. Really. It's too much, officer. Here's a fresh batch of locusts. They should slide right down the funnel. And thank you again. We will definitely mention you, should this lead to a discovery. I'm not talking co-discovery, of course, but it's my hypothesis that it has evolved certain electrochemical defences that allow it to interfere with animal perception, impeding pattern recognition, confusing the visual cortex. I'm expecting it to be quite giant. One known species of phasmid, called the Megaphasmodea zoensis, is about the size of a grown man's forearm. So, yes, the most recent sighting was by a couple of teenagers along the coast here. That's what brought us to Martinez specifically. Parthenogenesis, meaning the females don't need males to reproduce, makes it easier for a species to survive in adverse conditions. Yes. What? Thank you for your opinion. We have also included plant material in the traps to satiate your skepticism. By woman, you mean my wife, I assume. I will return to her, but I can't leave before we finish with these traps. My wife understands that just as well as anyone. Good. A good quality to have, both for a police officer and an experimental zoologist. Of course it's important to her. She's seen it. A verified sighting, on record. One of only 4 this century, and it's hers. Yes, that's how we first came to know one another, in fact. But that's her story to tell, not mine. That it will. That it absolutely will. I hope you brought your good boots. Caught the bug, I see. It's easier to get caught up in the search than you'd imagine. Oh, yes, officer. Very much so. The traps are all in the reeds. That is where we expect the phasmid to prowl. There are 4 in total. One is to the south, on this little peninsula, by the boathouses there. It's very near. You should check at least one of those before returning to this one, since I just said it. This one's more of a technicality, but still, better safe and stupid than sorry. Another we set in Land's End, to the northeast. It's behind a small sand dune there, on your way to the old radio tower, after the church. The third is set near the canal, where you crossed, by a concrete slab. A big thicket of reeds going up the slope, and among them, it is precious. A single dose cost me 50 real to develop. Not that I expect you to understand self-financing one's own research. Wise choice. Your choice. As I said, the chances of you encountering the phasmid are next to zero. My methods do not differ from other scientists. I simply draw upon a wider variety of evidence. And I have more hope that something truly surprising might happen. Indeed, my methods do not differ from other scientists. I simply draw upon a wider variety of evidence. And I have more hope that something truly surprising might happen. No, very few cryptids are ever discovered, and not for a lack of trying. To stay hidden is a cryptid's primary quality. It's even in the name, cryptid. Of the list of cryptids kept by the Cryptozoological Society of Chemney, which is 4,082 items long, about 2,000 have been confirmed as hoaxes. 2 are categorised as confirmed discoveries. The rest are in differing stages of discovery, refutation, and data collection. Yes, the Chateau Quan forest pygmy, who turned out to be an extinct species of primate, and a cave salamander from Yugograd, who is, honestly, quite unremarkable. It's in a zoo somewhere. We cryptozoologists are brutally honest with ourselves, more so even than the public. With cryptids, most cryptids are hoaxes or they are never found. That does not mean we should stop searching. In fact, it is 0.05%. Ever more magnificent should our search contribute to making that number 0.075%. Do you know what the success rate in pharmacological research is? 0.00003% of bioreactive agents have reproducibly beneficial effects. Yet science persists in the search for medicine, as we persist in our search for new species. Indeed. If our expedition is successful, every paper in the world will report on it, from Revachol to Dushantu. It will be a zoological miracle. Good. Okay. And I'm fine, Lena. And I definitely won't have a heart attack. Rather, a cough fit. Yes. And, of course, be sarcastic. Unless you have an alternative hypothesis you'd like to venture, mine stands, okay? Actually, no. Excuse me for getting emotional. This is a big deal for us. You've helped us twice now, and brought some great news too. My gratitude, and the gratitude of the Société Cryptozoologique de Ravachol, is yours. Pardon me. This is a big deal for us. You've helped us twice now, and brought some great news too. My gratitude, and the gratitude of the Société Cryptozoologique de Ravachol, is yours. Thank you for the vote of no confidence, Gary. An officer. I appreciate your concern, but please leave this to the experts, unless you have an alternative hypothesis you'd like to venture. No need to apologise, Gary. You'd be more than helpful. We'll have to take a rain check on that game of Sue's Reinty today, though. We're going to follow this through. No, that is precisely what we're not. We are zoological specialists, looking for an extant species of phasmid, and it shouldn't. Nature does not concern herself with ethical propositions. As a scientist, my interest is strictly dispassionate. It's truly not that special. What is cryptozoology anyway? It's derogative. I just like puzzles, like any scientist. I'm doing this for science, and so is she. You're right, Lena. The RCM is worth their salt. More so than they say on the radio. Ah, of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damn waterlock is broken, and we can't go all the way around the 881. Ah, so that's what this is. Lena sent you. Can't say I blame her. We've been here for days. That damn waterlock is broken, and we can't go under the 881. But I cannot describe how these defences work, much less how they evolved, without studying a live specimen. I definitely left that one stocked. What the devil is a kuno? And why would he be making a city of bugs? What the devil? Why would kids be making a city of bugs? Hell no. I had no idea. And I'm still cross with him, to be honest. It's not like him. He's got his quirks, but dishonesty, disloyalty are not one of them. No. No, of course not. Why? Well, he's been a little unenthusiastic about the trip, more so than usual. But that's understandable. He just wants to get home and warm up. All right. What cryptids precisely? I usually discuss these things with specialists, so I don't know what. Formerly the most dangerous, yes. But do you know the most dangerous living cryptid? The what? Oh, you're just talking about humans. Well, yes. We are quite dangerous, but we're hardly cryptids. Just like an ordinary ardent moose, that's what I thought. You haven't actually seen it, and I can't imagine how you could either. The Samarskill desert region has been embroiled in a civil war for the last 8 years. The most dangerous cryptid is a carnivorous ruminant, known colloquially as the dread moose. But that's not all. Some of the slaughterhouse apprentices went hiking by a nearby creek and saw a moose nibbling on an unidentified carcass. That's impressive, I guess. But have you seen it with your own eyes? Oh, everyone knows about that one, thanks to Professor Mijanu being the talk of the town for a time. I see you've been talking about cryptids with Lena. The kind green ape is one of her favourites. I'm guessing you heard about it from Lena. The kind green ape is one of her favourites. I haven't had a chance to travel to Coco Nor, no, and I likely never will. The Samarskill desert region has been embroiled in a small civil war for the last 8 years. We travelled to South Safra to look for it once. Gary and I got stuck in a rainstorm, though, and had to spend most of our time there in a little village. The search was fabulously unsuccessful, but the people were very nice. I'm glad they didn't understand what Gary was saying about them. They're very, very thin, almost flat in fact, and can camouflage themselves easily, wrapping themselves around trees and blending in with the tree bark. In that way, they're not too dissimilar from the phasmid we're looking for here. You probably have. Remarkable. When? A willow person. It's a long story. One non-specialists would find rather dull. They're not people, really. Some argue they aren't really animals, as they seem to have evolved directly from trees. Mijanu liked extreme animals, you see. One of the few figures of the academic establishment I respect. Really a shame she disappeared. A flightless cursor owl, found in the Seminine Isles. Its long legs permit the Nongok to run faster than any other avian. Perhaps any other animal. Who knows? Believe me, you won't guess it. You either know or you don't. Gary and I painted an entire grove's worth of trees in slow-drying paint. It was a bright lavender colour. I was hoping one of the willow people would get paint on it and not be able to camouflage itself. After waiting in hiding for hours, I saw a figure slip from one of the trees, a lavender shadow, dashing through the grove, although, probably because her life ended as a result of her work in Gutler, no one remembers her contributions to the search for the Nong-Ok. You kept complaining about how dirty they were. I know you think we were snacking on funny mushrooms. It's easier to mock someone and to admit that the world might be more interesting than you've imagined. And that's not all. Some of the slaughterhouse apprentices went hiking by a nearby creek and saw a moose nibbling on an unidentified carcass. Yes, the dread moose subsists entirely on flesh. It has even been known to dig up fresh graves in search of sustenance. Human remains have been found deep in the forest, torn apart, then trampled into the mulch by large hooves. Infer from that what you will. I chased it with a net. Not very elegant, but you can't be elegant in the field. And, well, it was faster than me. You can't. That's what makes it so dreadful and hard to identify. No offence, officer, but I'm not much of a pedagogue. I don't know what I would have done if Lena hadn't persuaded me to go back to field research. You should ask her if you want interesting stories. The bodies found in the forest are just one piece of physical evidence. There's more. The recent surge in the moose population has hidden carnivores. The dread moose are effectively removing competition for both themselves and their evolutionary cousins. One slaughterhouse at the outskirts of the woods in Vasa reported that its staff kept seeing moose in the distance. The moose would just stare at the building, as though they were waiting for something, its eyes bloodshot and full of cruelty. It makes sense that such a majestic animal with natural weapons, antlers, would come to rule the forest. The only strange thing is that it took so long. The carnivorous moose are a very young species, the result of a genetic mutation that fared well in the process of natural selection. Moose are already being hunted for sport. Can you imagine what would happen if they came to be viewed as predators? I know it sounds like we were snacking on funny mushrooms, but I did see motion and colour. Mine is not a confirmed sighting of a cryptid, however. Much goes into verifying these things, and my account comes short of a few standards. Furthermore, I am not saying it was a confirmed sighting. I'm painfully aware of what goes into verifying such things. There is a serious possibility that I saw a squirrel or a trick of the light. I am my own harshest critic. Confirmed. It's 100% verified and meets all the standards of an authentic cryptid sighting. Really? You kept complaining about how dirty everything is, but we digress. No, we'll not get out of anywhere. The dread moose is a widely reported cryptid from Arda. It subsists entirely on flesh, and has even been known to dig up fresh graves in search of sustenance. The bodies found in the forest are just one piece of physical evidence. There's more. Sightings in Vasa, reaching back 4 centuries. But, of course, nothing satiates the skepticism of. Understood, Lieutenant. You're right to. The bodies found in the forest are just one piece of physical evidence. We also have sightings in Vasa, reaching back 4 centuries. In fact, we may be close to capturing a live specimen. Modern genetic methods may prove crucial in differentiating the dread variant from the herbivorous one. Anyway, another one? Anyway, there is more than enough evidence to justify a thorough search for the dread moose. Let's close the subject, before it turns into an argument. Me? I'm not a people person, unless you haven't noticed, and I don't make a good lecturer. My strength lies in field work and persistence. I fear this mindless barbarism may have wiped out the elusive creature entirely. Sightings of towering luminosities have grown rare recently, while they once used to be constant. That's what I thought. You haven't actually seen it. In fact, I can't imagine how you could either. The Samarskill desert region has been embroiled in a civil war for the last 8 years. Of course you haven't. Yes. Probably. When it's not hunting its prey in this manner, the hawk hangs from tree branches, like a bat, waiting to dive on hapless prey below on the jungle floor. Oh, decades ago. In the 30s. I didn't know her personally, of course. A chasm of academic pretension still stood before us, even though she had unusual courage for someone from the other side. By all means. Okay. I already did my best to inform you. I don't really know what else I could discuss with the layman. All right, did he? Well, that one's a hoax. Some Seraise rice farmers set fire to rhinoceros cadavers and use them to scare tourists. Many times. It always turns into an argument. I don't want to repeat it. The rhino holds a special place in his heart. Let it. Myths are part of my field. Many of them probably are. Statistically speaking, about 20% of all cryptids are verified hoaxes. Uncovering falsehoods deliberately fabricated to fool the public is just as much my calling as finding new species. I doubt that. Once confirmed a hoax, so-called sightings of the rhino stopped. Was there anything else? Did you? It is almost as difficult to confirm a hoax as it is to confirm a sighting. Honestly, I doubt you'd find any of it comprehensible. I heard that, Gary. What did you do, Gary? What did you do, Gary? Gary, what's going on? God damn it, Gary. The hell, Gary? You in trouble? Sure, why not? Mutation. All of evolution is a mutation. Modern radar telemetry shows great promise. We will confirm this one by the end of the decade, latest. Very, very hard. Ramblings. Nonsense. Your description of the phasmid is the most precise I've ever heard. You were a child, my dear. Really. It's extraordinary what you were able to describe. Now go on. Tell our friend about it. He's proven his interest in the field. We were on a date. Can you imagine? She tells me a story, and it's the most detailed report of the Insulindian phasmid I've ever heard. The sounds. She told me it hissed, the way it moved, the colour, how some of its limbs were white, like marble. It matched perfectly with what I know from other accounts. It was amazing. If it weren't for Lena, I might have given up hope years ago. It's no exaggeration to say that she restored my faith in my profession. Not all of them. There is some white coloration reported, along with beige, where the camouflage ends. How could she? Who imagines this? She didn't know about the phasmid. This is the main thing here, what makes it a confirmed sighting. She had no previous knowledge of the insect.